Rob, look, I like the play-ins. And what I really like about it was that at the end of the season, we had some excitement. Because you usually don't. That last few weeks, the playoff teams are essentially set, and there's just not a lot of drama left. And then even some teams are tanking. This year, you had several teams vying for those play-in spots. You even had teams jockeying for seeding that were above the play-in. And so I think the play-in has been a great thing. I like it. Now, these games aren't, I think not the Atlanta game, they blew out Charlotte. The Minnesota Clippers game was a good one. And the Nets are just interesting because you want to watch them, right? Even in a blowout, it's like, okay, are they getting it together? Can they, are they putting the pieces together where they can compete for a championship? So they're exciting anyway, right. But they Cleveland did come back on them, right? I'm with you in that. I don't think they ever were really threatened, but Cleveland did pull within 5 in the fourth quarter.
But the only problem with that is when the game mattered, like the start of the game, when okay, here we go. The Nets scored 40 points in the first quarter, and their two stars hit 13 out of 14 shots. And it's natural, Chris. I get it. Cleveland is going to play. The Nets are going to pull back a little bit, right? Like it's human nature. Sure, they could have blown them out by 40, but I thought that the Nets were in control and that they were going to win that game. They didn't cover, but I don't know. I don't think the games have been nearly as compelling. Last year, people were a little hyped because Golden State played the Lakers. But the longer we go ahead with this play-in and teams are healthy and good teams aren't in the play-in and you have it back to what we would call regular basketball, I just wonder how many people are going to be excited about some of the also-rans when they meet in some of these games. And that's all I'm saying. I remember the Lakers-Warriors was a ratings bonanza, but that's because you had two teams that shouldn't have been there that were there. You know what I mean?
You had all-time greats, too.
Right. You had all-time greats in that. But when you start talking about the Pelicans and the Spurs or some of these other games, the Hawks and the Hornets, I don't know what the numbers are, Chris, but I just can't believe people were that jacked to watch those.
See, here's where I disagree with you. And there will be some of that. But a lot of these teams, Rob, that'll be in the play-in will have young stars. Usually a young star goes to a team that's bad, and the team remains bad. Even if that guy plays terrifically, averages 20-plus points, the team is still bad. So, like yesterday, and I get it, it was a blowout, but I wanted to see Trae Young versus LaMelo Ball. If the Pelicans had Zion, that would have been exciting. What if Detroit, Rob, next year is in it? Okay, nobody cares about the Pistons. But Cade Cunningham is emerging as a surefire star. You'll want to see him. Jalen Green, and you see what I'm saying? I do think you'll still have some guys that people want to see.
But I still think it's hard to watch a 30-point or 25-point first half. I think people tune out when you're watching a basketball game, and it ain't the first time they've seen Trae Young, and they're pouring it on. And I've seen LaMelo Ball as well. And you go, I'm not saying you don't want to watch, Chris, but you want to watch a game. You want it to be somewhat competitive. After a while, you want to turn and find a Golden Girls marathon lifetime.
No, you want to turn.
Yes.
Just because you're the sitcom king, looking for an excuse to turn on Green Acres or something, to switch over to TV Land.
Very nice.
Don't put that on the rest of us. But here's the thing, Rob. You and I have talked about that in general. Well, you and I have talked about it in general. That's not nothing to do with the play-in, right? Was it last year? There were a lot of playoff games that were blowouts.
Yeah, and it's hard to
watch.
And
we were saying, right. So I think that's more a function of the three-point shot. And teams, if you're hot, you might blow them out. Or if you get cold, you might get blown out. Or, things like that. So, but that's a problem in general, I think, with the NBA. But I don't think that's specific to the play-in. So, I think it'll be good because I think you'll typically have, big time lottery draft picks whose teams aren't very good yet playing in the play-in. And, we'll want to see them kind of under that little bit of March Madness type pressure. So I like it. Rob doesn't. What say you?